Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Bay Area Musicians Podcast. I am your host, Matt Gretter. Thank you so much for joining me today on this fabulous Sunday. It is an absolutely beautiful day outside, very warm out here in San Mateo, California, and we are ready to get this episode started here today. This is one I'm really excited for because normally on the Bay Area Musicians Podcast, as I've highlighted before, we really like to highlight the music scene out here in the Bay Area, introduce you to some of the musicians that are out here, and really just shining a light on the whole music scene out here. And I thought it would be very interesting to kind of flip the script a little bit. And this also came at the little bit of the stabbing in the ribs of my next guest here, who I love dearly. And she is a wonderful family member to have. And I really thought that, and speaking of family members, that's actually what this next episode is all about, because when we think about musicians, we see the obvious thing. You know, you see musicians on stage, you see the production that they have on stage and all of that, and you read all their bios and stuff, and you know a lot about the musical side of them, which is usually pretty public, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's another side that we don't often get to really experience or really know about. And that is when the musician is off stage. From the perspective of their families, what do they sacrifice being a musician, and what do they feel that their families sacrifice in turn sometimes. And I figured it would be cool to kind of shine a light on that, and also kind of flip the script, because normally I interview a lot of the guests that are here on the show, but turns out there's some questions that I need to answer now. And so this will be very interesting. We are very happy to have on the show here today a wonderful human being who I've had the pleasure of knowing approximately, if I'm guessing right, about 28 or 29 years of knowing this fabulous lady, because she is my cousin, and I am very happy to have her on the show. Miss Nicole Mondani. How are you doing?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me. Even though this was all my idea and I forced you into it, I'm very excited.
You can't see it, but I got handcuffs on me right now. Actually, that's what these wristbands are for. So.
I was like, you got to have the cousins on.
Yeah, and we're doing it. We're making it happen.
We're doing it. Thanks for having me.
Wouldn't have had it.
Are we going to talk about the fact that we've already done this episode?
No.
This is take 2, everyone. A little behind the scenes fun fact.
Usually I am a pretty tired person, because I am very, very active with work and trying to be a musician and starting my own business in junk removal. But naturally you get pretty tired, and I was on autopilot and I hit the wrong button and deleted our last recording.
And it was good, guys. We'll just tell you that. It was great, but this one will be better.
That's right.
Second time's a charm.
That's right.
But no, thanks for having me.
Oh,
this will be fun.
Wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yay. Okay, so my first question, to flip the script, I recently went to a Metallica concert, and it got me thinking, what was the first concert you ever went to? And if it's not the same one, what is also the best concert that you've ever been to?
Okay. Each concert that I have been to, though, they've all been very memorable in very different ways, but the obvious one, which was the first, that was Rush 2007 on the Snakes and Arrows tour at the Shoreline Amphitheater, another fantastic local venue here in the Bay Area in Mountain View. Mm-hmm. And that was actually an early 14th birthday present from my dad. Because I got interested in music at 10 years old, and I was absolutely obsessed with Rush, and especially being a drummer. What drummer is not obsessed with Rush in one way or another, right? So
not a very good drummer.
But anyway, so I was obsessed with them, and I found out that they were coming into town, and I really wanted to go. And I told my dad about it, and he's like, "All right, well, consider this an early birthday present. I'm gonna take you to see him." And so
shout out to Uncle Gary.
Yep, and then. To really see, like, even though I was on the outside looking in, the whole perspective of seeing what my dream was that somebody else was living, to see what it could look like and not to mention it was my favorite band up there. It's like, this is heaven right now. This is heaven. And that just further solidified what I wanted to do, which was to play drums for the rest of my life. So that was the first one, and that was definitely the most memorable in terms of, obviously, because it was the first one. Most memorable concert overall,
or like your favorite, like if you go back and relive one.
If I had to relive one, I think the only thing that I would do differently about this was there was a lot of things going on that allowed my lovely wife Brianna to not be able to join me for that concert, but I would love to have her there for that show if I could relive it. But
this guy, what a good answer.
But that's the only thing different. But the Rush's R40 tour, which celebrated their 40th anniversary when they came to San Jose at for all the hockey fans out there, the Shark Tank. That's where they played. That was memorable the most memorable in the sense where, of course, is my favorite band again, and also too, as much as I would have loved Brianna being there, this was supposed to be like the last tour for Rush, and to have almost like an intimate experience, just myself and my favorite band. That was an experience too. That was awesome. But their stage production and how they did it, when they first started the show, it was present day Rush. You know, you got the giant amplifier stacks, and Geddy had his like very weird like time machine type stuff on the side of the stage and all that. But then periodically, like after every 2 or maybe 3 songs, the stage crew would come on while the band is still playing, and they would incrementally tear down the stage, like strip it down to like different eras of Rush. So like they started out with the whole R40 thing, and then the stage crew tore it down a little bit where some of the amplifiers went away, but then you see, particularly behind Geddy, it went to the washer and dryers that were actually turned into amplifiers.
Oh, that's sick.
For like the early 2000s Rush. And then after a period of that, then the stage crew came on again, stripped it back a little bit more to where it was 90s Rush. And they kept doing that throughout the show up until the point where at the very end, the encore, it was stripped down to what a band would have looked like back in high school, where the amplifiers are literally set up on like bench chairs, and the stage actually looked like they were in like a high school gymnasium. So that was really cool. It was like a reverse chronological order storytelling.
I actually love that. It sounds like, not to bring up Taylor Swift, but the Taylor Swift eras. Like going through all their chronological albums and eras, but in reverse order, and then stripping them down to just a simple band on a stage.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you may have heard about this through social media, and I was completely blown away because I found news of this the day after we tried our first recording. Rush is going back on tour.
What?
The 50-something tour.
No way. Are you gonna go?
Where there's a lot of talk about the prices for that, so I'm
really?
not exactly sure that's going to be doable.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure they're gonna be really expensive. If this might be their last ever, they'll probably make a killing off this.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the problem.
Right.
A lot of fans are not really happy with that right now. But they did find an amazing drummer to take the place of the late great neo-Puritan Annika Niles. I've seen a couple of videos of her play, and she is absolutely phenomenal. Much more technically proficient than I could ever be.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
She is the perfect choice for Rush to do this.
We love a female band member.
Any band member, doesn't have to be male or female. Just any band member that suits the music the best, and especially coming into a very much impossible role.
Yeah, that's true. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Annika was male or female.
Mm-hmm.
Just somebody who Geddy and Alex believe could do it.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself says a lot.
Yeah. No, good for her. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you get to go.
Well, hopefully so.
Like and subscribe. We got to get Matt to this show.
And Brianna too,
Yes.
if that could happen.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yeah, that was definitely the most memorable in terms of being an intimate experience with my favorite band and the whole reverse storytelling.
Yeah, that's a cool stage presence idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you said you were about 10 or 14
at the time.
Yeah.
When
you went to this Rush show, the first
one, I was 14.
Okay, so you're 14 and you were like, this is what I want to do, or you saw this on stage at Shoreline, you're like, this is it for me. What made you want to start drumming?
Well, that was actually even before that.
Okay.
That was when I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had, actually, my dad always had the radio on in the truck when he would take my brother Tim and I to school.
He always had the radio on in the truck, even when we were camping.
My dad,
That thing was on. The radio was on.
Yeah, so in a roundabout way, he introduced me to music without me even really realizing it. But there was always this one song, of course, by Rush, that would come on the radio. He would always listen to 107.7 The Bone, which is the local rock station out here in the Bay Area. And this song by Rush called Fly By Night would always come on. And I don't know what it was, but there was just something about it that always had my 10-year-old brain in a trance. And particularly when we're in the car driving and the title sequence, like Fly By Night, and watching everything fly by the window as we're driving, there was just something about that really had me in a trance. And I would always be waiting with bated breath for that song to come on again. It's like, is it going to come on again? Is it going to come on again? Is it going to come on again? And then like 2 weeks later, it finally would. And then I'd be in my happy place again. But then I eventually asked my dad when it did come on, hey, what's this? Oh, it's a song called Fly By Night by a band called Rush. Is there a way for them to like replay this? Can you call in and like, hey, can I hear that song again?
This is urgent. Can
Very
107.7 The Bone play this nonstop?
No, there isn't a way, but I know another way. And he took me to Tower Record Store back when there were still record stores in 2002. And so Tower Records in Stonestown in Daly City. And he wrote down on a post-it note the band, the album, the genre, and most likely where I would be able to find it. And he handed me $10 and he said, go find it.
That's cute.
So he was an old school dad, still is. He wasn't the type of dad that would hold his son's hand all the time. It's like, you got to let them experience something. I'm here if you need me, but you try to do this on your own.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through all the albums, all the aisles of all of this different music, and sure enough, it's right where he said it was, and paid it and got home, and I have that song on repeat for 3 months.
I was gonna say, you probably burn that CD on that one track.
One teeny tiny little strip of rainbow on that one CD. I burned that out.
If that's the Matt I Know and Love, you listen to that song nonstop.
I still do.
Yeah.
But
that's cute.
But even at that point, even listening to that song for 3 months straight, I did not know what the drums were.
Oh, interesting.
I did not know. But 3 months after, I consider this the second lightning bolt of inspiration, which something possessed me to finally open up the pamphlet inside the CD, where you normally see like the all the song titles, the lyrics, publishing credits, and all of that stuff, right? And a couple of pictures too.
Yeah.
And I finally get to the middle, and it's a band photo of all the members: Geddy Lee on bass, Alex on guitar, and then finally I see Neil Peart dead in the middle of the picture behind the drum kit. And it was no less than a second later of seeing that part of that picture, just him behind that drum kit. That's it.
Aw. And
that was, I think, 23 years ago.
That's wild.
So that's what started the whole drums.
You just knew.
I just knew.
Yeah. But in real life, were there any adults in your life or like teachers growing up that gave you an outlet that you felt like, oh, I could do this? Or was it more bands that you looked up to and loved that made you want to do this?
I think at that time it was really bands that I admired that
Yeah.
really made me want to do this,
Mhm.
and helped me at least believe that I could do it. And then, I'm primarily self-taught.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I remember that you taught yourself how to play drums.
yeah, I would just listen to a song or any of my favorite bands, and I would just try to mimic what I thought I heard. And even before I had a drum kit, I would have, when I finally started branching out and actually listened to the entire greatest hits album of Rush, which was the first album I got, which is what Fly By Night was on. I would have that in the stereo in my bedroom, and even before I had a drum kit, I would just sit on the corner of my bed and envision the picture of that drum kit that Neil was behind, just envisioning that in front of me, like actually taking it in my mind, flipping it around. Now I'm Neil, and I just try to mimic what the drums were doing, and just eventually taught myself how to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then eventually, when in school, because I had to wait until junior high school to get involved with any kind of a music program, because the elementary school I went to didn't have it.
They didn't have a music program or no drums?
No music program
Oh,
at all.
interesting. But I guess too, like I'm trying to remember elementary school, middle school, high school, they don't really have a drum section. It was more like flutes and wind instruments.
Well, it depends on the type of band programs that they have.
I guess that's
within
true.
The program. So, for example, which is what I got involved in when I got to Parkside in junior high school.
Shout out to Parkside.
Yes, go Panthers. They did not have like a jazz band type program where it would actually be like a drum set actually playing, which is what I really wanted to do. But I got involved with it was called the Beginning Concert Band. And it's very much like the setup that you were just describing. There's flutes, there's clarinets, trombones, and some violin in there. But the drums, it's a giant percussion line. So one person is dedicated to one instrument. I could be playing snare drum, but another kid is playing bass drum, another kid's playing xylophone, another one is
xylophone.
Another one's playing timpani and all that
of course.
Type of stuff. So
I've never heard of these things.
So all different percussion instruments that come from the concert background, and that was good training to at least get actually playing a set of drums, or any drums for that matter, because there was no drum kit in junior high. But when I got to high school, Cappuccino Mustang, San Bruno,
shout out.
They had a jazz program, and that had a drum kit in it, and
okay.
and for that reason only is the only reason why I went with the jazz program. They have a drum set, and so I want to play a set.
Yeah.
And so
you're like, can we do Fly By Night?
I wished we could have, but no. But all of that was, even the teachers were great, and they gave me a lot of instruction in terms of how to practically apply some things that I never would have thought of playing before. Despite that, I still for the most part consider myself self-taught.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so then that takes us through high school, and then I wanted to ask about All Roads. What was like your big takeaway from All Roads, or what did you learn from your time on All Roads? Tell the people.
All Roads, that was the first rock band that I ever got involved in, and actually that started, I think, a couple of weeks or so after I first met my wife, and so that was in early 2014, I want to say, if not. Obviously, I know when I met my wife. I know that. But
this is a question of All Roads.
but All Roads particularly, it was either extremely late 2013 or January of 2014. And that was a really fun experience, because not only did I get to actually be in a band that played music that I identified with, which was rock music, but I also got really good insight about general songwriting, even though I don't consider myself a songwriter, but just by doing that and going through that whole process, it gave me at least recognize like, hey, maybe this little part here on the drums, I can do that. Maybe could accent this part of the song a little bit better if I do it this way and stuff like that. I'm a little more of a co-writer than I am like a sole songwriter. You know what I mean? So I'm more of a collaborator in that sense, but it did give me a lot of insight about how to generally write songs, or at the very least, how to contribute the drums to the songwriting process.
Yeah.
And the biggest takeaway, which is really the coolest thing, was that we also had a studio experience. We recorded 2 albums that are still available out there on Apple Music. Believe it or not, they're still out there. And one of the songs that we did on the second one, which was called Atom Bomb, we sent it in to an agency in Los Angeles called Academia. And for the month of June, I think it was, maybe it was July of 2017, we actually won Best Hard Rock Song.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I remember when you were in All Roads and you sent us the link to your iTunes, and I remember being like, this is so cool. Like, you could download what you guys are doing.
yeah.
Like, for so long, I felt like iTunes was only for, I don't know, Beyonce and all the other things, whatever I was listening to. But it was so awesome that, like, your band was on there and you could, like, download your drumming and everything.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, but even though it may have seemed like iTunes was only for like the big name artists and stuff, that what you see is just what happens to be what most people are downloading. So
Right.
whatever is the most popular, iTunes and Apple therefore is going to naturally promote that to the top, or like the very first thing that you see. But you could pretty much type anything in the search bar, and even who I play for today, Mike Anuzzi, he shows up.
Yeah.
So
I do feel like iTunes was really popular, and then maybe around 2017, 2018, SoundCloud really became popular. And I remember on that platform, it really felt like there were more smaller local artists that would pop up more frequently than iTunes. But yeah, now I think it's a lot more of an equal opportunity platform, and we have Spotify, everything. But yes, All Roads was really cool to hear you guys on iTunes.
yeah, and it is a band that I wish that a part of me wishes I was still a part of, because it's closest to my purest identity as a musician, growing up with 70s and 80s rock music and learning how to play that music, and just being in that general environment. It was an amazing feeling, and if I could live it all again, I absolutely would.
Aw.
But things happen for a reason, and nothing bad happened between anybody or
Yeah.
anything. It was just time for a different direction.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I guess you were saying closer to your truest identity as an artist. If you weren't doing rock, country-ish music, is there a genre that you would be interested in drumming for?
I would say probably the closest that I could think of, especially the closest one I can think of relating to rock, would probably be more straight ahead pop.
Oh, interesting. I did not expect you to say that.
Well, particularly as a drummer, I know I may be diving into a little bit of technical stuff here, but particularly the grooves of a lot of pop music is a lot of straight ahead stuff. Doom, da, doom, da, doom, da. And there's just something about a simple groove like that a lot of people really that they really relate to, and it not only is it easy to play, but it's also fun to play.
Yeah.
And so I would probably say not hip hop, but pop.
No, that's fun. I didn't expect you to say that. I don't know what I expected you to say, but that would be awesome. Like, pop music is fun. It's upbeat. I could see like drums leading well to that sort of genre.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
you weren't gonna say jazz.
No,
Like that wouldn't make a ton of sense.
well, it wouldn't make sense in a way because I never really studied jazz.
Yeah.
At least the jazz music that a lot of people know to be jazz. In the jazz program in high school, that was like pure basic swing, very simple arrangements, and whereas jazz music the way that I know it, it's very free flowing, and there's no like real structure and stuff, which for me makes it really hard to maintain like where we are or where to exactly take or change the beats throughout the song in order to transition very well. And I just never really got into it.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
but yeah, that's pretty much that.
Yeah. How do you feel like, bringing it back to family, since this is the Cousin Corner episode, how do you feel like family informed or disinformed or affected in any way, like your want to become a musician? Like, obviously, I don't know of any musicians in our family, really. Sorry if there are any. None are coming to mind.
I want to say I'm the first one.
Yeah, that like in recent memory, like the last few generations.
Yeah.
But do you feel like there's no musicians in our family? Like, how has family played a role in your like musical career?
That's a very good question. Well, definitely all of my family has been, including yourself, you all have been incredibly supportive. Even though there were times, particularly from my parents, that I kind of doubted that they did, based on how they may have expressed certain feelings about certain things. But that was all just in the heat of the moment. But I know everybody has been incredibly supportive, and that's really the. I think the only thing that I can really think of to say is that that's really one of the big backbones that really keeps me going in it.
Aw. Yeah, no, we love going to your shows. I guess going back to what you're saying about your parents, I'm sure when like a child says that they want to pursue something in the arts, any sort of career, like musical or otherwise, like that probably is a moment for a parent to be like, oh God, what are they getting into? Or like a career of maybe like disappointment or like financial hardship.
Well, because nothing in the arts, particularly, nothing is guaranteed. Because you go to any regular job out there, you work for them for 30 years. You know you got guaranteed pension and usually retirement benefits and all of that stuff, which is usually guaranteed by law. And so it's a more safer route to take, especially when it comes to financials.
Right.
But and yeah, in music, nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so I can understand why it would be scary, especially for parents.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they also know that, and knew at the time, and they still know that music is something that really keeps me going, and they realize that they believe as much as I do that it's my purpose for being here on earth in the first place by the grace of God himself. And they respect that. Yeah. And that in itself is more than any musician could ever ask for. Is even though maybe some family members, not necessarily mine, but just in general, may disagree with some career paths. But the most important thing I feel is that if you at least respect what that person wants to do with their lives, no matter what it is, at least respect it and show that you care about them as a family member more than anything else, that in itself will carry everybody through.
Yeah, no, that's good advice. Like, support them while they pursue this endeavor.
Yeah, and especially when they find their niche at a very young age. If your child or cousin or brother or sister, whoever it is, if they find something that they really feel like they really want to do with their lives at a very early age, you have to support them in that, because chances are if they discover it at an early age, they may not find something else.
And like, I feel like a lot of people don't find that. Like, a lot of people do go into the workforce and don't necessarily pursue hobbies outside of it. So I think it's cool that in addition to working a regular job, you also have a hobby that keeps you going outside of that.
A hobby?
This is not as a hobby?
It's a lifestyle.
Okay.
Okay, let that be known to you that any musician out there, it is not a hobby.
I stand corrected. Lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, and
wow.
and when you're at the point that that I'm at, it is a second career
Do you feel like it's your first career?
because I identify him as a musician first. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not first in terms of income yet, but there's been a lot of great stepping stones towards that, particularly this year.
Yeah.
But it's still not first in terms of income.
Yeah.
But it'll always be first. Like if somebody were to come up and say, hey, who are you? I'm a musician.
Yeah. I feel that.
So
Okay, not hobby, lifestyle.
yes,
Writing this down for future.
thank you.
Okay, so if you weren't drumming outside of work,
Okay.
what do you think you would be doing? If you never found drumming, what do you think you would be doing?
And also considering outside work, meaning what I'm doing now for my day job.
Correct, yeah. Like if drumming never entered your life.
Good question. Well, I am a fan of like classic cars and racing in general. So
I could so see that for you.
at least as far as like a hobby is concerned, like I'm doing it right now where I collect die-cast model race cars. I've got most of Dale Earnhardt's cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Richard Petty's, and I'm also going to be getting into like the NHRA, like John Force, Jack Beckman, those types of die-cast cars, be collecting those. And also too, like particularly I'm a Chevrolet fan. So like if I had the opportunity,
I saw his garage. There's a lot of Chevy merch.
Chevy through and through. Sorry Ford, sorry Dodge, but I would think maybe something related to cars in that way, or motorcycles too, because I ride a motorcycle, so almost anything with wheels.
Yeah. Whether it's a drum circle or a wheel, anything circular.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, but back to drumming, the lifestyle drumming. What is, like, when you were starting out, I remember you would have gigs everywhere and anywhere. Like, what's the longest you've ever commuted for a gig? Like, not spending the night. You don't have a hotel somewhere, but it's like you get a gig, maybe last minute or not, but you're going to drive there and make it work. What's the longest you're driving?
Okay.
I'm kind of scared.
Why would you be scared?
Gosh, I just feel like you drove so long for some of these. It was a little out of hand.
Driving a long way, but not spending the night.
No hotel room. Like maybe you crash, but like you're just going there for a gig and coming right back. Like you're hauling in your truck to make this gig.
Okay. There's been quite a few. It's kind of hard to narrow down.
Are we crossing state lines?
Well, I have crossed state lines, but that was for like a 4-day long tour. It wasn't for, which I do have a story about that in a little bit. Oh, okay.
Tell it.
So this was 2018. I want to say. I could be wrong.
We won't know either way.
But anyway,
lie to us.
But anyway, I was playing for an artist named Mike Hellman, who I still play for on occasion today, and he wanted to do a short, like almost like a weekend long tour of Oregon, but one of the first show that we had, it was a total of 4 shows. The first one was actually in Petaluma, California, which is not too far north of the Bay Area here. And we played the show at a place called the Big Easy, which is like almost like an underground speakeasy type 1930s and 40s prohibition type atmosphere.
That's cool.
And we played that show and everything went great. And now we got to find a place to crash for the night. And thankfully the bass player, he offered to have us crash at his place. And we pull up to the place. It is like the quarter of a size of like a small barn. And I wasn't thinking. I did not bring a sleeping bag. The only thing I brought was a pillow. That was it. And so
at least you thought of the pillow. I don't know.
a little form of normalcy there.
Mm-hmm.
So because I forgot my sleeping bag, now I'm trying to find a place where I can actually try and crash. One would think, well, why don't you just go at least into your car or something? Didn't think of that. But anyway, I looked around and I see a padded table, literally half the size of this dining room table in here, and I'm like curled up in the fetal position trying to fit on this thing.
Like a cat.
Pretty much. And I got number one, I got a combined hour and a half sleep that night. And mainly because for two reasons. The obvious one, sleeping on that thing was very uncomfortable and unusual. So who is really going to fall into a deep sleep on that? And secondly, it just so happened that that table was in the bass player's bedroom. And that in itself is not bad, but I found out he had a habit of talking in his sleep. So if you can imagine me curled in the fetal position trying to go to sleep, it's pitch black because there's no lights on, and then all of a sudden in the darkness you hear this. I was saying and then now I'm just hysterically laughing because I've never heard this before. This is the funniest thing I've ever.
Just jarbled words.
Just jarbled words, in the pitch black, and I can't stop laughing. And so get an hour and a half rest, and then I have to drive 700 miles to Portland.
God.
And we did stop for gas, but I did not do the wise thing, which was to let Mike drive the rest of the way. I just kept going.
Yeah.
Because we were in my pickup truck, that blue GMC Sierra pickup truck that literally took me everywhere. And you should have seen me when we got to Portland. My eyes were squinted, and they were every square centimeter of the white in my eyes was all red.
God.
And I was a dead man walking. And then we get set up to do the show, and I don't know what it is. It just has to be like musicians' adrenaline or something, where you just sit behind the drum kit or you put on your guitar, you step up to the microphone, whatever it is, and as soon as the song kicks off, this unexplainable like adrenaline thing takes over, and it's like you're reborn again.
Aw.
So
Showtime, baby.
So I guess you could say the music is literally my cocaine.
Yeah.
The healthiest cocaine I've ever had.
Wakes you right back up. Nature's
That's right.
cocaine.
And so we did that for a couple nights there. So if you want to take that distance into account, that was the longest overall distance I've done.
Yeah. No, that's grueling. That's a long time.
But in terms of longest distance driven and not having to go back home, I would venture to say that was probably Turlock.
Yeah.
We were actually, it wasn't quite as long as one might think, though, because the family was actually staying up in my sister-in-law's cabin in Arnold, which generally is not that far away, but it is about 60, 70 miles, and there was no hotel for me to stay at. So after that show was done, then I had to drive back, but I'm borderline falling asleep at the wheel. I know I can't make it. So, but we planned it ahead where there was this one town that I would stop at that has a lot of pretty well lit parking lots, and I parked in there, and I crawled into the back seat, and I just had my pillow there, and I had my jacket as a blanket, and I slept in the truck.
All for the love of drumming.
All for the love of music and trying to make a dream come true.
Yeah.
That's what.
That's grueling. Okay, what was one of the first times you remember like being on stage and performing?
First show that I ever did, I'll never forget it, was with All Roads. And it was at a place called the Quarter Note in Sunnyvale, California. That was a couple of months after Brianna and I started dating. We started dating in March of 2014. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months later
Okay.
that we did that show.
Summer of 2014.
Summer of 2014 was
Yeah.
the first show outside of school music program concerts. Putting those aside, that was the first show that I ever did, and it was quarter note. It's a dive bar.
Yeah.
But what do you expect any first time band to get booked at?
Yeah.
You're not gonna get playing Oracle Arena, Oracle
No.
Stadium,
Fox Theater, none of
Fox,
that.
none of that. So, but yeah, that was the very first show.
Were you like terrified or were you excited?
I was uberly excited.
Really? You weren't scared?
I was not scared at all.
Really? That's crazy.
Just
You were ready.
I was ready.
Yeah.
And we got up on that stage. I sat behind the drum kit, and it's like, yeah,
I'm home.
let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thinking like you talking about when you first started drumming, first went to your first concert, got your first CD, all that. Going back, if you could redo your musical career, if there's something that if someone wanted to start drumming today or pursuing musical endeavors today, what like advice do you have? Or is there something you wish you did differently or wish you did sooner? I don't know, anything.
Start playing drums sooner.
Really?
But other than that, though,
You were still so young though.
10 years old, but there's kids who have started at 3 years old.
What if there's someone watching this who's 60, 70, 80 and is like, oh, I want to start drumming? Never too late.
Well, of course it's never too late.
Yeah.
I'm not saying saying that, I'm not trying to say that there's any time limit on.
Yeah, you
on
just wish
trying to-
you had more.
just myself.
Yeah.
Just myself. But anybody who wants to start who wants to pick up a pair of drumsticks for the first time, or even just who wants to start learning an instrument and all that stuff, just going by my experience, I would say just listen to your favorite music, and particularly for any of the musicians out there who are not drummers per se. Maybe if you can just start out, there's a lot of internet programs out there that offer like what they call tablatures, which are more stripped down versions of an actual composition of music. So you can download those, and it'll actually have the structure of the song, the lyrics, and also the chords or notes that need to be played. And they'll also outline like, hey, this is what this chord looks like on a guitar, or what this one looks like. And really just play along to your favorite music. And because that's exactly what I did, and I tried to mimic what I heard, and really just have fun with it, and also be persistent. If you're really serious about getting into music and wanting to not necessarily be like a hobby musician, if you want to get out there and actually perform, you just got to be persistent with it, and eventually the right people and the right circumstances will come your way. You just got to be persistent.
Yeah, that's good advice. What's the like Bay Area musician scene like? Like, is everyone pretty supportive? What's like the age demographics?
I'm still diving into the to the very specifics of it all, but I can safely say though we're definitely not a Nashville, LA, or New York type music scene. But there's a lot of history out here with where music came from, especially as far as I can date back to, which was particularly the 80s, even though I wasn't alive at that time. But the music scene was I think it tends to be more of a grittier atmosphere out here in terms of like the local music scene. There's a lot of like hard rock / heavy metal bands that are out here in this area. Like one reference that I remember is Metallica. When they first started, they were actually in Los Angeles.
They're local though, aren't they? I think I want to say their drummer is from here. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
But the story is that because the drummer Lars, he was born in Denmark.
Okay, never mind.
And then the family moved to Los Angeles.
Okay.
I think James, lead singer James Hetfield, he's a native of Los Angeles.
Okay.
And so anyway, the band started down there, and while they were putting everything together, there was a local band from the Bay Area that was playing in Los Angeles, and they went to go check out this band, and the bass player in that band, they were looking for a bass player at that time, and Cliff Burton was playing bass in this one band, and they're like, we got to get this guy in our band. And Cliff was very interested in joining Metallica, but the problem was he lived in San Francisco, and he said, I like you guys, and I really want to be with you, but you're gonna have to move up to San Francisco with me. And that's what Metallica did.
That's crazy. That's been good.
They followed Cliff.
Wow.
And so, compared to what LA was back in the 80s, particularly, which was a lot of glam rock hair bands, is what they called it, where everybody, well, imagine everybody in the band having your beautiful blonde hair, all guys sweating it out there, headbands like Guns N' Roses was back in the 80s and all that stuff. They called them hair bands.
Interesting.
And
they're just headbanging.
Well, headbanging, but also they're all dolled up at the same time.
Got it. Okay.
Like wearing spandex and all this other stuff.
Spandex in that era.
Yes, there were.
I understand. Okay.
And but whereas San Francisco, particularly at that time before Silicon Valley was ever even a thought, it was more blue collar at the time. And so instead of a music scene where it's like martinis with olives in them, San Francisco was just straight up beer can. It was more blue collar, grittier, grungier. A lot of young kids just wanting to blue collar guys just wanting to let loose on the weekends and just let all of their work week frustrations out with a beer can and just heavy music.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that still carries through to today, particularly in San Francisco. It is a little bit more of a grittier atmosphere, even though there's still a lot of genres that are being played out here. Country, classic rock, jazz, bluegrass is actually pretty big out here, especially when you get out to the coastal regions like Half Moon Bay.
I mean, San Francisco has that whole bluegrass festival. That makes sense that there's kind of a pull of that genre here. Yeah,
we got a whole bunch of music genres out here, just like LA does, just like Nashville does, just like New York does. But there's just not as much of a spotlight on it as I think there should be, which is the part of the reason why that the Bay Area Musicians Podcast was started in the first place, was just to shine a light on the music scene out here.
Oh, that was one of my questions. That's good. I was wondering why you started the podcast. I take it I'm not your target guest since I have no musical experience, but is that your goal, like to have more up and coming musicians on to like share their stories?
And not just up and comers. They can very well can be professional musicians.
Yeah.
Like I've had Micah Nuzzi on the show.
Yeah.
I've had Sophia Claire, who I play with, and I also had our worship leader, who we actually just met at the restaurant earlier today, Brandon Passion.
It's true, yeah.
He's a professional
He
musician.
also married you and Brianna. Yeah.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much, Brandon. And so anybody from professional all the way up to up and comer, just getting their feet wet.
Yeah.
And really just introducing the scene out here, introducing the musicians out here and all of that. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, my final question that I wanted to ask you, what's like the dream? Like if anything musically that could come your way that you could achieve, that would be your all-time coolest thing to ever have happen, what would it be?
Well, there's already been quite a few experiences that have happened that I would have considered impossible, but through persistence and kind of putting myself out there, and oftentimes in uncomfortable situations, because for me, I may have expressed this a little bit on earlier episodes. I am on the autism spectrum, particularly with Asperger's syndrome, which is more high functioning. But part of the problem is, especially around strangers or people who I may know, but I don't know how to approach them the right way and stuff. It can be very intimidating. So from that perspective, it was putting myself in situations where, okay, I know these are pretty high profile people, and now I'm about to step into their world, and how the heck do I handle this? So that was a very intimidating thing, but it turned out it was the best move I could have ever made, because I became really great friends with Rich Redmond, who plays drums for the Jason Aldean band. And through that relationship, and also proving to him that I could actually play, he felt that I was worthy enough to actually play with the Jason Aldean band at the Shoreline.
Yes, that was so cool. Yeah.
It was during sound check, but still, to have the opportunity to play with one of your all-time favorite bands, any musician, especially a 25-year-old musician at the time, that doesn't happen that early a lot of the time.
And on the stage that like you grew up going to concerts at, that must have been such a really cool moment.
To stand on that stage and actually look at all of the seats and imagining that they were all full.
Yeah. That's
a view that I never thought I would ever see.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That for sure is the biggest one so far.
Yeah.
In terms of going from here, I already believe that particularly with Mike Nuzzi, he is the best musical situation that I could have ever hoped for. Not only are his songs just absolutely amazing and through the roof, but he is incredibly humble. He appreciates and loves everybody in his band and everybody that he is associated with to try to make his dream come true. And so as far as a music situation, right now, I think I've achieved that. The ultimate dream, though, would be able to financially support myself solely as a musician. I don't need to be, a part of multi-million-dollar deals or have to make that kind of money to be considered successful. If I could just pay my bills, live a comfortable blue-collar life, be able to pay the bills, maybe save a tiny bit of money, and just live my life doing something that I love to do.
Yeah.
That in itself is a success.
That's the dream.
Yeah, and actually, I do have one or two questions for you.
Hit me with it.
This kind of ties into with one of the effects of Asperger's syndrome that I have dealt with a lot more in the past, though I feel like I've conquered it in most recent times. Things have gotten a lot better, but particularly early on, I was always kind of the quiet kid, and in the cousins group, there were a few times, particularly at our family camping trip in Death Valley, where the cousins are talking amongst yourselves, as you should have been. But I just felt that a lot of the topics were not something that I could really relate to or contribute to. And so therefore you feel like you're left out and all that. So were there any times like within the cousin group that I may not have been there, but was my lack of presence ever felt?
Matt, of course. We're always better when we're all together. And of course, I feel like we always notice when one of us isn't there.
Yeah.
I do feel like, growing up, I could see that. I feel like I sometimes felt that too. Like there's 3 boys, 2 girls when we were on like those trips and such. And yeah, it's easy to feel like, especially when you're young, like how interests change. Like I do feel like it was like a boys club for a while. Like you guys talk about sports and stuff, but I'm sure there were times that you were like, they're talking about something I don't care about. But no, of course.
That happened a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So,
no, I feel that.
I always felt like the black sheep, and I'm not looking for pity at all, because I'm not. Just just recounting what my feelings were at the time.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get that. I get that feeling. Like I think we've all maybe like felt that, but I never felt like you were that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's not. So he's not here, but
Thank
we don't.
God
we
he's
don't,
not here. No. Never.
Yeah, thank God that black sheep ain't here to be in our way.
Never. Brian, no, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Brian.
Just kidding. No, never.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's better when we're all together.
Oh, for sure. And We also now have a gag where if one of the cousins can't make it, we have the cutouts on a popsicle stick.
We should have brought them today.
I know we should have. We didn't think.
You always do a good job of making it to the family stuff.
Yeah.
Despite all the gigs and.
I do the best I can. Most times it does work out. Sometimes it doesn't. And there's been times where I've caught quite a bit of heat from my parents for that because, like, you value music over your own family, which is not true.
You're like, yes. I'm just kidding.
No. Of course, I value family over music.
Yeah.
Like, this is family. This is music.
It's close, guys.
It's close, but
family at a musical gig, perfect. That's great.
Because everybody wins.
Matt's like, thank God everyone's in one room.
They actually care about what I'm doing.
No, we love going to your gigs. I love the Fox Theater one.
Yeah, that was the most memorable show that I performed.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And there was a lot of circumstances around that show that almost made it not happen. But fortunately, Mike stood his ground and he convinced the Fox to make it a free show.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
Oh, for sure.
It worked out. Yeah, that was a cool one.
All right. Well, we thank you so much, Nikki, for coming on. We really appreciate it. And yes, you twisted my arm to make this happen. Not that I didn't want it to happen, but she twisted my arm the most. And,
I did.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Love you. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Bay Area Musicians Podcast. We really appreciate it. We got a lot more episodes coming your way in the near future, and we are really looking forward to all of this. Thank you so much for coming in, and we will see you guys next time on the Bay Area Musicians Podcast. Bye, everybody.